County Clare has so many spectacular places to explore and experience. But when I think about the places that I've returned to personally multiple times, as well as the wish list that so many people have for their Ireland vacation, there are three recommendations in County Clare that they always just kind of rise to the top of my list. And those are the Cliffs of Moher, Bunratty Castle, and an evening of live traditional music. These three spots offer an unforgettable mix of landscape, history, and culture, and they really can make that portion of your trip that's spent in County Clare absolutely unforgettable. Welcome to another Traveling in Ireland Quick Tips episode, where I share one piece of advice to help you make the most of your Ireland vacation. I'm Jody Halstead, Ireland travel advisor and host of the Traveling in Ireland podcast. Now, whether you're drawn to dramatic landscapes, medieval stories, or just the energy of a live pub session, these three experiences really capture the heart of County Clare. They're easy to plan, enjoyable for all ages, and they really do offer a true sense of what makes this county so unforgettable. And bonus, if you're short on time, you can completely fit all three of them into one single day. Takes a little bit of planning, and you have to have your timing right, but you can completely do it. So let's jump in. Number one, the Cliffs of Moher. Now, this is the number one natural tourism spot in the country. This is one of those bucket list places. So many people say to me, if I don't see this, I won't feel like I've been to Ireland. And I completely understand. I have been to the cliffs so many times. And this is one of those places that it can feel different depending on the weather, depending on the cloud cover, depending on the time of day you go. It really is a spot that can be different every single time you visit. Now, here you've got your coastal landscape, your dramatic views, and a walking path. Currently, part of it is closed, but you really don't have to go far off of the Cliffs of Moher Visitor Center area. So there's an area of the Cliffs of Moher that is part of the visitor center. It has tall walls, completely safe. But then you can get off of that and there is a coastal path. It is partially closed at the time of this recording, but you can still get out there and get those unobstructed views. Just remember to be very careful and stay away from the edge. Now, there are multiple ways to visit the cliffs. You can visit the visitor center, the main tourism site right there. You have the building where you have history and lore and loads of information about the site. And then you have the actual cliffs views themselves, as well as O'Brien's Tower, which you can climb. Amazing views from the top of the tower as well. You have a guided cliff walk, and both Ollie's Tours and Pat Sweeney do these guided cliff walks. I think that if you are going to do a cliff walk, I think it's best to do it with a guide. They know every inch of that. They're going to keep you safe, and you're going to get some really great stories as you do it. And then there's also a Cliffs of Moher cruise. Now, you can do this cruise direct from Doolin Pier and just do the 1 hour out and back. But if you visit the Aran Islands, you may have the opportunity to come back to either Doolin or Galway via the cliffs and get the view that way. If you are visiting the cliffs, I advise going before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. in the high season to miss the majority of the tour buses. I really do recommend planning at least 90 minutes if you're just visiting the main site, visitor center type area. You'll need at least 90. 2 hours is better so you don't rush and you can really get that full experience in the visitor center. If you are doing the cliff walk, know that it can take 3 to 4 hours for the full cliff walk if you're going Doolin to the cliffs. And if you are doing the boat tour that just goes out from Doolin Pier, it's about 60 minutes. So if you plan to really get a good overall view of the cliffs, and let's say you're going to visit the the visitor center and cliffs and then do the boat tour, give yourself a full morning, like say 9 a.m. to noon, or give yourself a good chunk of the afternoon or early evening to do so. Now, the second site in County Clare that I think is absolutely spectacular is Bunratty Castle. Now, this is the best preserved tower house in Ireland. It is fully I don't want to say restored, even though it is fully restored, but it also is fully furnished. And you don't find that actually in a lot of the tower houses. So Bunratty is set up the way it would have been used, with the kitchens and the bedrooms, the great hall, things like that. And it's really a spectacular spot because you can kind of visit that dungeon area at the bottom, and then you can climb the circular staircases all the way up to the battlements. So it really is a terrific castle to visit. And the thing that makes this even more of a great stop, in my opinion, is the surrounding folk park. This makes it a terrific option for families or anybody who is really curious about Irish history and what daily life looked like. Because in the folk park, they have houses that have been brought from all over Ireland. So these are traditional houses. So you have farm cottages and fishermen's cottages and things like that. And they've all been brought back. And it's kind of like a living history type museum where you're going to find people going about their daily lives. There's a little village, and it has a pub and a school and a post office. So you really do get that back in time feeling at Bunratty Castle and Folk Park. Now, if you are going to visit, you want to plan your day for Castle Folk Park a minimum of 2.5 hours, which makes it a solid chunk of a morning or afternoon. And I will say it's very easy to stay longer. So if you don't have to limit yourself on time, definitely don't do that. Bunratty Castle also has a medieval banquet that goes year-round. Now, near my Napogue Castle also has a medieval banquet. I prefer it personally, but Napogue is only from April to October. So if you're off season, Bunratty's medieval banquet is year-round. Now, this does book quickly. Tour companies will usually book a lot of the seats. So my advice for that is, if you are booking the medieval banquet and the first sitting when it runs, if that's full, go ahead and book into the second setting, but then email and ask to be put on a wait list if you would prefer that first setting. And a lot of the times those tour companies don't really fill the seats, and they will let them go as time gets closer. So go ahead and book in advance, like I said. Email if you want that earlier sitting, and just kind of keep on top of it as the time gets closer. And finally, in County Clare, I think that live trad music, while you can hear it across the country, Clare is really known for their vibrant music scene. You're going to find music festivals throughout the year across the county, and you're even going to catch buskers at places like the Cliffs of Moher. Now, Doolin, which is a small little village just north of the cliffs, does bill itself as the home of traditional Irish music. There are 4 pubs in Doolin, and they always have a session going on. You are never without music in Doolin. And then just outside of town, you have the Doolin Music House, where Christy Berry and some of his friends actually host you in Christy's house, and you're kind of getting the music and the stories and just some great camaraderie and conversation. So if you really like that traditional music, definitely check out the Doolin Music House. It is well worth your time. Now, I did mention festivals in County Clare, and just to give you a little bit of a rundown, in late February, there is the Russell Festival in Doolin, as well as the Corriff and Trad Fest. Kilfenora has a Trad Fest in late April. The Doolin Folk Fest is in mid-June. Willie Clancy Summer School is in early July. The Kilrush Trad Music and Dancing Festival is in late July. And then in September, the entire month, is the Lisdoon Varna Matchmaking Festival. And while that is not music-focused, there is always music going on every single night. So if music is on your list, County Clare is a terrific place to get that experience. And just going back to fitting everything in one day, if you happen to visit the Cliffs of Moher in the morning and Bunratty Castle in the afternoon, right in the shadow of Bunratty Castle is Dirty Nellie's Pub. Great pub, amazing story, but they also have live music there. So plenty of places to catch your music and get that fix in County Clare. Now, obviously, these 3 places and activities just scratch the surface of things to do and see and experience in County Clare. So to help you plan your time in the West, I have the County Clare Travel Guide on my website. It has my top 5 things to do, recommended tours, places to stay, transportation tips, family-friendly suggestions, and more practical insights to make your visit easy and enjoyable. You can explore the full list of things to see and do in County Clare at IrelandFamilyVacations.com/explore and click County Clare. Thanks so much for joining me. Slán for now.